Good morning. It's good to see you. Smile. Good morning, Fumi. Good morning, Mambuki. Good morning, HerLens family. It's been raining cat and dog in the
Oh,
city of Abuja, but hey, we can't
it's
do. We
already
just
here.
have to show up anyhow.
Yes, it's good to have you, ladies.
It's
Okay,
been raining.
about my
Though it's
glasses.
drizzling now, but it's been raining all morning.
Eh, the rains have sort of stopped in Lagos for a bit. Well, I wouldn't know. Let me not say anything because I wasn't around. I was in Abuja. But the time I was even in Abuja, it didn't rain. So
I
I
mean,
don't
you
know.
know what you just did? You
What did I
said
do?
it's raining here, and you looked outside to see if it is raining.
Yes. I had to check like, is it ready? I'm the one that doesn't know is ready. Okay, about my glasses. I realized that my glasses, I needed to have upgraded my glasses for a very long time. My last prescription was maybe 2023, maybe 2024. I'm not even sure which one of them. And my optician had said, "Oh, you're going to have to change your prescription when you turn 40." I was like, "What's that?" Because I was saying this to somebody yesterday. I vividly remember when my mom turned 40. It was when she turned 40, she started wearing glasses. Now, I've been wearing glasses off and on from about 23 or, yeah, 23 when I was 23. So I was like, because all that was in my head was my mom beginning to use glasses when she was 14. I was like, that's just old people problems. Because, you know, as a kid, you think your parents are old when they start turning 14. So I had been dragging it out with it until I couldn't see anymore. Turns out that my vision when I'm reading is different from when my vision when I'm seeing. I started noticing that when I use my glasses, if I'm looking close, I can see. But the moment I raise my head, I can't see anything. So I had to go and tell them, look, save me. So we've been having consultation for the over like 2 weeks. Initially, they said my eye pressure. That's the first time I was hearing about eye pressure. That my eye pressure was high, so I was on eye drops. Went, or they say it's okay now, but I need to change my glasses. Also, they said I needed the reading glasses. You know those ones that will have the demarcation. That's
Yes,
why I was like, that's just old people problem.
that's for old
And
people.
yes, and I don't want that. So they said, oh, there's a way they can do it very focal, a bit very flux. Clinical. Oh, that's so
Bifocal.
so something. Yeah. So that's where I am at now. My glasses will be back next week. So I had to, they were like, oh, do you want to stay with one? I was like, what's the point of staying with one when it's not even Goku working? So I'm without glasses for the next 7 days. I picked them up, I think next week, Thursday. Yeah. Can I see? Is now the question. I'm trying to. Yesterday, I wore sunglasses for the most part after the show, but I cannot wear sunglasses on the show. So I'm trying my possible best because light is also a major part of my prescription. They say astigmatism, clinical. I said, oh, okay, great. And then I'm still long-sighted and flexible things. So yes, that's to answer your question, Buki. I now have old people problem with my glasses. That's why.
Old person.
What did you say?
I saw you're an old person.
I'm not older. What are you talking about? I'm so
Yes,
young. Please speak
yeah.
speak for yourself. But let's get into it this morning. Speaking of, is it illness? Okay, would I say eyesight is an illness? I don't even know. We're missing Ibn Abba this morning because maybe Ibn Abba is still having the aftermath of her birthday celebrations. But yeah, hopefully she joins us soon. Sickle cell is our first order of the day. A father has come out to talk about, how his daughter having sickle cell is as a result of a foolish mistake that he made. There are quite a few people that I know who didn't get married to each other because they found out that they are both AS, they carry the sickle cell gene. We've also seen people who have gone ahead to get married, regardless, believing that, oh, yes, God will do it for me. Some people call it religious psychosis, where you are seeing the medical verdict in front of you, and then you still go ahead to get married. We've also seen time and time sickle cell people who have died because their bodies couldn't withstand the crisis that they have. And if you've seen anybody in a sickle cell crisis, like that, if you don't have pity for the person, it means that you don't have hearts in your heart. So I'm just going to move over to the ladies. Buki, would you say that people who go ahead to get married to each other, okay, let me add as well that some people say they can do the selection of the strain so that they don't do that. There's different conflicting. Some people go ahead and say, "Oh no, we'll pick the strain IVF, one thing, one thing, one thing." But at the root cause of it, Bookie, I'm sure that in your you've encountered people who also have this crisis, who are sickle cell. Would you say it is selfishness on the part of the parents, a man and a woman, because of love? They say we're going to marry each other because even though we know that me and you are AS or me and you are ASSS, would you say it's selfishness? And on the other hand, is there a little bit of religious psychosis there where you think that, oh, regardless of what the medical verdict is saying, I'm going to go ahead to marry this person? Yes, Buki, over to you.
Good morning once again, our dear listeners. I will not pitch my tent on
Okay.
one. It cuts across depending on your experiences. For some, it was sheer ignorance. They didn't know. They didn't know what their genotype was. It's recently, maybe for the past 10 years or thereabout, that has come
Mm-hmm.
to the front burner for everyone, that even religious organizations now, they will tell you to go and check while you are doing the marriage counseling and things like that. Yeah. But back then, it was not a known thing. Some of them had to marry because they didn't know. And some of them, yes, religious issues, right? Under the pretext that, um, God said our marriage is going to be blessed, and it's going to be blessed. They know, but they still went ahead, to do that. And of course, some of them share, well, I will still box it under sheer ignorance. They just had that knowledge that it's not ignorance, is not religion, is in between somehow, that should be, they say 1 out of 4, somehow something will happen, something will happen that that SS child will not come. For me, thank God that we're discussing this today. And just in case some people are about to make some commitments, some decisions, they should sit back and wait. I always tell people, like, I told you about, was it not 2 weeks or last week when I was at the Kirikiri prison, to minister. We were talking on taking responsibility to the people who registered for the course. The course is Onesimus. The name of the course is Onesimus. And one of the things that I drew their attention to is that a decision, you can make a decision, and that decision you are making, it will not take you 1 minute or 2 minutes, even let's even say 10 minutes to take that decision. But the consequences of it will take you even to your grave. Such times, it's not about the decision. We say take right decisions. I think what we should now be saying is that while you are taking the right decisions, also weigh the consequences of that right decision. Maybe that one will cause sense. I had a very, very close friend who had the SS. In fairness, it was when I got close to him that I really, really understood what SS. I mean, he's dead now. He's gone to be with the Lord. That's almost maybe 30 years. We met, we became very good friends in the camp, Christian fellowship and things like that. So he was in drama, and then of course we had friends, all of them. So we were always going together, and that was when it dawned on me what SS means. We could hear it, but it was just like, okay, maybe it's just one sickness or something. But by the time I got close, because we were about 6 or 7 that we were always moving together, and I said, wow, when the crisis come, because you see, the normal cell is very soft and disc like, so that it can move easily in the blood. But with their own, the shape is not that, it's like crystals. So at times, and it's hard, it's sticky. So that's why they call it sickle. For it to
Okay.
move in the blood, it's not easy. So at times you find out that it because of the hardness, it does not move so fast, and then it causes the blood flow is not normal, so you become anemic. And then because of the way the blood vessels are now, that is what it calls the severe pain, where they say crisis. And at times it does damage organs over time. And of course, because the red blood cells are not functioning properly, they are susceptible to all kinds of communication. And then when they have it, the pain they have, it's terrible. I remember that when he has it, at times he cannot get up. We will have to carry him to the hospital, right? And then, of course, they're always tired of hospital admission. That one is normal. It's normal, except those that have been able to manage it, to understand how that thing works, right? And how they are able to manage their body, which a whole lot of people are doing now. But it's expensive, you understand? But I mean, they subject themselves to it. That's why we have this foundation, Sickle Cell Foundation, and all that. And they are doing a great, great, great deal in supporting people like that, because they're giving them information and they're checking through and all that. Yeah. Then of course they will school disruption now. Yeah, you can't miss that. And then of course the emotional effect around their parents, their siblings, even me. I'm telling you, even for us, when this guy is down, all of us, we are not happy. You understand? And then you're talking about the serious complication. Talking about the faith issue, I need to say this. Faith should not be used to deny biology, right? It should not be used to deny biology. I know there are some pronouncements, and you must be sure you hear from God. You must be sure you hear from God. Many a times we say we hear from God, but really it's our desire. It's our desire, really. I must say that. And faith does not require us to deliberately, hear me, deliberately ignore information that could help us make responsible decisions. It's like you want to cross the road. They have taught us, look left, right, and left again before you cross the road. But now you say you get faith. You just say, no, the car will stop, or whatever it is. Or like the gentleman that entered into the lion's den. I remember some years ago in Ibadan.
In
He called
Ibadan.
himself, he calls himself Daniel. And he entered into the lion's den. And of course, the lion showed Pepe. You understand? So the question is, there are times God does some things, and there is a reason. There is a reason for it. But when you have full information, the reason why God gave us brain, and I always say that God is the chief scientist that we have. Check how God, check how God, you know, designed the earth system, ecosystem,
Mhm.
geophysics, and all that. He's the chief scientist. So if there are blood cells, it tells you to, to be cautious, to look at that. And then, of course, I want to leave with two scriptures for people, because when they say faith, the clip we saw, it was the father that was saying that, look at how my child is suffering because of faith. There's a scripture that says the prudent see danger and take refuge,
Mhm.
but the simple that is foolish one keep going, and what they pay the penalty for it. Another scripture says, my people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge. And then we also know that there is one that says wisdom is profitable. With all this, please listen to counsel. Because you love this person, it's a decision. And if you decide to go with it, then please face the consequences. But know
Mhm.
that just in case that girl comes or that boy comes and is SS, and he or she gets to know that you made her or him like this because of your decision,
Yeah.
how would you feel? How would you feel? and even the trauma yourself and your wife will go through. I've seen parents that at the end of the day, because of the issues, they were not happy. There was a Nollywood film I watched. The girl was really angry at them, left the home and all that, and she kept saying it, that you people are stupid, you are this, you are that, you are selfish. Look at what I'm going through. I'm the one going through the pain. You are not going through the pain. Of course, they were visiting hospital and they were spending money, but are there other ways?
Yeah.
That woman is not the only one. You understand? Don't let's cloud ourselves with all these mindsets, and let's make society better. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Hi, Ibinabo. We're still in the birthday euphoria. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, beautiful lady. Lady Fumi J, Lady Olubukola, Lady Nima, and Lady Susan. Good morning, and all our valued listeners. It's good to be here. Thank you.
It's good to have you. We've been speaking about sickle cell. Susan, over to you. What what would you say is? I asked Buki, is this selfishness or religious psychosis? I don't even know how to answer this, to ask you this question.
I have a question for Susan.
Oh, okay, go ahead, please.
Because Susan has mentioned before that she could have blamed her parents for her condition, but she chose not to. She accepted them with love. So my question today, because for context, I know someone who is SS, is going through so much pains. And one day she called her parents very angry, shouting at them because she was going through pain and she was putting me too through pain because I couldn't leave her alone. So she called her parents that they have made her a burden to everybody around. And generally, when people are being rude to their parents, I caution them. But I couldn't talk that day because she was talking from a place of pain. So my question to Susan today is that when children get angry and attack their parents, calling them selfish, are they justified?
Yeah, thank you so much, Nima. And I like the fact that you still reflected and remembered what I said. And yes, I still stand on my words. I want to tell you that every emotion people let out at different points are valid to them. That person is in pain. Even the parents saying sorry beside that person does not know the level of pain that person is. And so that is the only way the person can let out steam to say, you are the cause of this, and it is justified. It is absolutely, I'm not going to sit here and, behave as if, no, because I am not blaming my parents. Or I have had people tell me, so why are you not blaming them? It's my decision, it's personal to me, and I'm not the next person. So I'm not going to castigate another person. But I want to bring in an angle to this conversation as a genetic counselor. Now, beyond all of the emotions we see on this video, is the fact that we have a serious public health concern. I did my thesis at the Sickle Cell Center there in Lagos because I was worried about so many things at the time. I don't have a sickle cell carrier in my family, but I'm just one person who is curious for knowledge. And it is not something that is caused by faith. When I'm talking of faith, I'm not talking of FAITH, I'm talking of FATE. And it is not also caused by poor parenting after birth. It is an inherited genetic condition. We have established that because these people from that video, they both have ASAS.
Yes.
Now, from my knowledge as a genetic counselor, 1 in 4 births from these people is going to end in having an what's the name now? An SS child. SS child. 50%, which is half of the number of children they are supposed to have, will end up in AS. And another 25%, which is 1 in 4, is supposed to be an AA child. So
Mhm.
if two AS adults by any means decide to get entangled in love to have children, let them bear in mind that 25% of every pregnancy, which is 1/4, is a risk.
Mm.
It's either they have an AS, they have an AA, or they will give birth to two AS. So, and this is where genotype testing comes in. After studying it, I was wondering in my head if I made a mistake, because I mean, in Nigeria, they don't even, it's abroad, you see people employing such people with that degree. You need to go for testing, you need to go for proper genetic counseling. And trust me, it's not only because of AS, there are other genetically, you know, inherited whether sickness, whether conditions, as it were. So it is important that we do these things. And this is not me blaming parents who already have children with this condition. No. What they deserve is love, quality care, and what have you. And trust me, I don't know, but I also have my reservations about him doing all of those videos in that child's vulnerable moment. I have my
Mm.
reservations. In all honesty, I am a strong advocate about exposing people. You can tell that story without showcasing that child, showing the face of that child. It is important that whatever we do as adults, we make informed decisions. I want to tell us this now. Faith is important, love is important, family and culture matters. But when medical facts are involved, none of them, I repeat, none of them should replace medical knowledge and informed choice, because we have seen lots of people, making this mistake. I am a full grown adult and a Christian. I love God, so that you don't think that I'm a fanatic. No. But we need to move, because as a society, we dwell more on God forbid. It is not my portion. That
Yeah.
is the average Nigerian. We should move beyond this to, have you checked your genotype? These are honest conversations, because I mean, prevention begins with knowledge. If you do not even have knowledge of your genotype and what have you, I've seen people say, oh, in our parents' time, this did not happen. You are lying. They have children who were always sick and all of that. But in that era, the means of managing these things. And this is where couples should be intentional about genetic risk. I mean, it is not a thing of pressure. It is not a thing of shame or misinformation. You need to know what your genotype is and work around it. Because, I mean, that video should not be one of those videos you see online that makes you just cry. It should make us learn. If it doesn't make us learn, in the next few weeks, we'll have another parent who will emanate from somewhere and also make video of their children when they are in their vulnerable moments. Let's do right by ourselves. It is only God that helps us. Even when we go to the doctors, without God, we can't get results. So we should learn and move beyond. It is not my portion. No, my faith can carry me. And when the chips are down, you start crying foul. No, thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I really like the angle you came from about not recording her, the child in a vulnerable state. But some people might argue, Susan, that recording her in that state is bringing how the actual crisis looks like to people who might want to venture into marrying somebody ASAS. What would you say to that?
To me, you could do that without exposing that child's face.
Okay.
Child protection exists. You are massaging somebody's leg. You can be showing somebody's leg and we're hearing the voice. You cover that child. You do not need to, because I mean, everybody has seen. So eventually when that child goes back to school, we live in a society that troll people. They don't care. Social media is just for the paparazzi, the clicks and the likes. We have seen a society that, in all honesty, they don't really care. Tomorrow, that child will have someone abuse her based off of that. So you could cover her face You could record her voice. You could show the joint pain and all of that. I have seen people, I have worked with people who have SS crisis. That was even what pushed me to go and study for genetic counseling. I focused on all the genetically transmitted inherited ailments and all of that, whether it is Down syndrome and all of those things. So I wanted to know the genesis. So you can do that, but please protect the face of your child, because you will not always be there everywhere with that child. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Ibinabo. Before you joined us, we've been speaking about sickle cell, which I'm sure you've gathered from listening to the ladies. What are your thoughts on this? In your years of experience, I'm sure you've come in contact with this. What's your call to parents who are already in this situation? They've married. Is it stay from having children, or if they've already started having children, what is the way forward from this?
Okay, thank you for me. The ladies spoke well, and more so, my observation had been mentioned by Lady Susan herself. I mean, I didn't like the fact that that child's face was in the video. I mean, there have been videos where you see the video, but you don't see the face. The only face you are seeing is making the video and all of that. So I hope that other parents will learn from that, because Nigeria, there's something that is very interesting about Nigeria. Before you know it now, the whole social media will be filled with videos of sickle cell patients everywhere. Parents are showing them and everything. Sometimes you don't do some things because you want to create content. Having said that, you see, I want to please plead with parents, especially parents of certain faith, Christians of certain faith. I don't want to mention the particular one, because why am I saying this? Some time ago we discussed a family that their story broke out on the social media. The woman was pregnant and she needed to go through a cesarean section, and the husband and the woman herself said no, because by faith they're not supposed to do that. And the woman died eventually. Another one, the child was very ill and the child needed blood transfusion. And the parents said, because of their faith, they cannot do, and they lost that child. So, and so many other stories that didn't make it to the public. So I want to firstly plead with couples, please, if you are already in this, would you please stop procreating and stop believing that, okay, the next one. There's a family that has 3 SS children. So you can imagine the chaos in that family. And then you come out and begin to blame God. God has, every scientist and whatever knowledge he has or she has, that knowledge was given by God. So God already has given knowledge to people to warn you, to tell you about a sickle cell. So if you're not going to say that no, then whatever issues come after, it's on you, because you already have the knowledge. Because in this century, in this day and time, there is so much information about, sickle cell and other blood related issues, that you can't come and tell me that you had no idea. You can't carry it with faith. So please, because even in the Bible, you see, there is a place for supernatural healing. There is a place for the physical, parts. When Jesus Christ went into Jairus' daughter's house, when she died, and he raised her from dead, he said, give her food. He should have given her spiritual food, excuse me, that she wouldn't even need to eat forever. So everything has its own place in our lives. So I'm pleading with even couples who are just courting, please, one of the essentials before you get married is to know your genotype, know your blood group, know everything that you need to know, so that you don't bring to the world a child that is going to live all his life or her life in pains. It is not fair in this time. I recall so many years ago, a friend of mine, they are both my friends, the man and the woman, they got married blindly. That is without, they didn't check anything. And their very first child is SS till date, and the struggle is still there. But you know what? They took the bold step and they said they parted ways. It was very sad because they were this very sweet, very, interesting couple, like Egbat Aburo, the two of them, But because of the reality on ground, they had to, everybody find him bearing. Now they have a common cause. That is the child they gave birth to, the SS baby. And the mother relocated to the UK, and she was always complaining, oh, the father will see me and gist me. She will call me and say, hey, this child is she's troublesome. She's this, she's saying this. I said, look, will you come and meet me and complain to me? You give
network. Hi, Binaba, we cannot hear you any longer. It's cutting. Uh-oh. The network is cutting.
Can you hear me? Or you can?
Yes, we can hear you now, yes.
Okay, thank you. So let me just wrap up and say that let us make informed decision in whatever we are doing. Let us be proficient in whatever we are doing, because today will pass, tomorrow will come. Tomorrow will become yesterday, and another tomorrow will come. And each day passes, you can't stop it. 24 hours and a new day comes in. So please, whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is you're going to do, especially if it pertains to somebody else, whether your child, whether your spouse, please, let's do due diligence. It's important. Love cannot erase the pains of an SS child. Love cannot erase the reality that there is a 25% chance of you giving birth to an SS. Some people will say the 50% is higher. But what if you are the one that will carry the 25% forever? So please, let us not play coupon. What they call, let us not do bet. Let us not play ping pong with the lives of our born children. Let's face reality. No matter the level of love you have for your girlfriend or for your boyfriend, that love is not strong enough to stall the pains that your child will go through. And it is unfair, because no matter how, like Susan, no matter how much you say sorry, I'm so sorry, you're not the one feeling the pain. So you can never ever understand the depth of the pain. So please, please do not allow whatever it is you call, whether you call it love, whether you call it whatever, to so much blindfold you that you say, if you're going to get married and don't have children, or if you have money, there are other medical ways to go about it. If you have the money, like I read somewhere how you can have different types of getting pregnant. You can have IVF with embryo genetic testing and all of that. If you have that money, and they check it and they know, okay, this particular embryo is not an SS embryo, and you want to go ahead, it's your choice. But please have a rethink, because you are bringing forth a human being whose life is going to be miserable for the rest of his or her life. You don't want to do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. We are live on YouTube at WFM 917. The phone lines are now open at 7,000 917 917, 0800 1235 917, 09155 917 917. You can text us or WhatsApp us on 08155 917 917 or 0703 0703 1756 537. Nima, over to you for the next one.
Our reality in Lagos, skits maker Brainjota says shares video of thugs harassing him while driving on Lagos Road. And also last week, I guess it was last week, we spoke about thugs who attacked a GLE driver when he was on his way to Pella and Javis's wedding.
On the big question, right?
Yes. And we said then that they are a menace in the society. In this video, they were insisting that the guy must give them money. After all, he's a skit maker and we the people watch his kids, and we should give back. He should give back to the community. Actually, there were varied reactions under that post. I read someone's comment who said, "You people should let this guy rest. He has to create content, and mind you, the content has to be engaging for you all to watch, enjoy, like, comment, and then he makes money. But if you don't like his post, you don't comment, you don't follow him, where would the money come from? Even they have it tough. The average Nigerian is complaining. They also are having it tough. It has
Okay.
hit everybody. And I'm like, okay, well, we might have varied reactions to that comment too. But I'm going to let the ladies speak. Let's start with Bookie. She said she likes my smile.
Okay, yeah, a quick one. I had a recent experience. We are coming from an event. We are coming from an event. Yes, I know it was close to, where you have the Fela Shrine, very close, but it was still a distance. And that's not even the first time I have experienced that. Even in all wedding halls and all that, you will see them, they will always gather around. But this particular one was a bit frightening because they did not allow us to move. They were following us, and it was not just us, anybody that they see from the whatever, they will be following. And it's not just one, two, about 6 or 7. And they'll be insisting you give them money and all that. And then they will follow you to the car. And then they will also trail you. They will be following you. At a point, my husband had to say, you know what? We just have to give them. So we had to give 2 sets. And then one was even very funny. It wasn't this particular day, it was another day in another place entirely. We gave them, I think it was 500 or something, or 200 or 500. I can't remember, either 200 or 500. Do you know they had the gut to say that it was
It
not
was not
enough
enough.
for them?
Yeah.
And they were in front of our car, typical of them, that you get scared that they might even break your windscreen or do something or whatever it is. So under that, you just give it to them. I think it's time we begin to condemn these things and begin to talk about these things and call the attention of the government. It is not right. It's not branding us well. You can imagine if a visitor comes, I'm sure they must have experienced it as well. And then at the end of the day, what? I remember a local government chairman who was telling me that what he does is that part of the security vote or whatever that is given to them, that because he sees them as security threats. So he uses it to do what? To put them into skill acquisition centers and upgrade, what they do and things like that. And it has reduced, it has not removed it totally, but it has reduced it. So people are now aware. So when they see a tout or whatever it is, they say, you enroll in the local government chairman's whatever, because now people now know that this is wrong. I want to stop. Thank you.
Okay, Susan, over to you. Harassment is basically what this is. Harassment. There's no, what's the English? 2 ways to say this. Harassment. How are you able to navigate this as a person who's differently abled? How do you navigate this? Who do we need to start calling to say, you put your man, this needs to be stopped?
Thank you, Fumi. Last week I was at a meeting and we're talking about transportation, and we had NURTW leaders and other stakeholders in the room. And one of the things I raised was the fact that not all persons with disabilities can board Uber and Bolt like I do. I board it and I come back home to drink garri because I do not want the stress of, when they want to stop you. That vehicle, we have along here where I live. But where they want to stop you, these people can come to harass them. Imagine you struggling to enter and the car starts moving. Imagine them not knowing who you are. Maybe you have an invisible disability, like you are deaf. A deaf is an invisible disability. You don't even know that that person has a disability. And so that person is not actually hearing, because they don't always walk around with interpreters. And so you are trying to enter a car, they are harassing you. You are trying to say, I can't talk, and they are saying, you are lying. How do you cope? They were all shocked. The leadership of NURT were crying. I'm like, I don't do well with tears, not because I'm not an emotional person, but I need change. Crying in this room without speaking at the grassroots level to the leaders in the different local governments and all is a big menace. I've been saying it recently here in Abuja, that Abuja is becoming Lagos. We know Lagos with Agberu. From here to there, you will see them from there to there. And now we are beginning to see them littered all over Abuja. Why are we replicating what is wrong? I mean, why are you harassing people? You don't even know whether the person just managed to sodo ashwebi or someone paid for them and they iron their clothes and come out. In this cashless policy, you begin to harass people. My sister, that is why I pick where I go to. Where I don't have power, I sit in my house. I sit it out. Not because I want to be in isolation, but because there are a lot of factors that just make stepping out a Herculean task for me. And so this is also a clarion call to the leadership of some of these people, because for every group in Nigeria, they have leadership, whether we like it or not. I think it's a message to them to please start speaking to their people. I know they want to get something from people they feel celebrities, or even if you attend a party, you're automatically a celebrity. But can the harassment stop? Can it reduce? Can they stop harassing people so that we even breathe? Going to party now, you'll be calculating and calculating settlement. Kilo daddy. Thank you, I beg.
Yes, that settlement of a thing. Nima, last question for Ibn before we go.
My question is that, do you feel these talks are banking on the good graces of people? And that's why they are not discouraged. Because otherwise, people say, "Egba on sonu jare." But they know people. Do you think they feel people won't do that, maybe because of the constitution and the law, or I don't know?
I get you.
It's so I beg you, Jerry.
Okay, thank you, Nima. You see, when something that is very wrong absolutely continues to thrive, then you want to look at the government, want to look at the leadership, because the government is there to protect lives and property. And this is an aspect of protection that is lacking on the part of the government. There is, I mean, by the constitution, there is no right whatsoever that is given to louts or touts to harass people. And do you know that this thing goes on even in the night? It won't help you if your vehicle breaks down in certain areas at night. Just someone said he would just lock the vehicle and start running for his dear life. So, and then I want to quickly say that because this thing is the grandmaster of these activities goes on in Lagos. So this is a clarion call to the governor of Lagos State.
Yes.
The governor should look into it because it is damaging the image of Lagos. Take it or leave it. Forget about the commercial activities and everything. It is damaging the image of Lagos. And when push comes to shove, the effect will begin to be seen and be experienced by people. You cannot have people on the roads waiting for maybe an accident or something to happen that will create a certain level of gridlock or slow movement of vehicles. Then people start pouncing on you. So many people have high blood pressure in Nigeria, and such incidents could elevate the person's situation. So please, I don't want to talk about the economy, because the economy affects everybody. So why are you coming to me? Am I the reason why you are poor? Am I the reason why you don't have money? Am I the reason why you don't have a job? The responsibility mostly is upon the shoulders of our leaders and then their own leaders, because they have leaders. So whatever usefulness those people are to our politicians, that should not be the topmost reason for leaving them to operate on our roads. It's dangerous. He doesn't speak well. I remember a friend of mine who had been away for about 20 years came to Nigeria and, living on the island and having to go to the mainland mostly because that's where people were and all of that. She was frustrated. Her children refused to leave the house because of the bad experience they had. If I have money to buy big vehicle, that waiting concern, not be me work money, take buy them. So then I begin, like, I go carry money buy motor. I go see carry money buy yagolono. I go see carry money where I go take their peace touts. No. That does not speak well of the country and Lagos State as a whole. There is something that should be done. The law should be brought into this. You don't have a right to come to the road and harass me. And then again, if they are taking them out of the street for a skill acquisition, yes, it's a good move, but it's not working. They will learn this skill as they come to the road to harass people. So for me, I think the law should be brought into this situation. And nobody should look Uche's face, whether it is bleeding or not.
Yeah. All right.
Action should be taken. Allow the law to take its course. People should not be harassed. This is not a jungle. Please. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is not a jungle. It's a good place to end this, Nima.
All right, you're listening to the ladies of HerLens on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Susan Buki Ibinabo, my beautiful self, and
Fumi.
Thank you for sticking with us. You'll catch us tomorrow at 9:05 for another edition of HerLens. From us, have a very wonderful morning.
Goodbye. Up next is Radio Doctor.